Welcome, everybody. Different setting, crazy stories to come. I am remote. My family is camping. Actually camping now, not glamping, and I'll explain in a little bit here.
You went from glamping to camping?
For real quick. So if the internet cuts out for me or anything, Nick's going to carry the show on, but I think I'm in a good spot here. And of course, Nick goes spinning on me. And so, Nick,
So someone throw in the chat if Dan is frozen for them as well, because he just froze for me. So I don't know if that means he's frozen for you guys. It looks like my internet's still okay. So give me a we can hear you. It's all on you, Nick. David. Uh-oh. All right. Well, until Dan gets back, yes, Dan is frozen. Dan, yes, frozen. Dan, frozen. Yes. Okay, cool. Well, so thankfully he froze in like a really good expression, because, you know, like if it was me and it froze, I would have been like mid-word and it would have frozen like Dan's froze. Okay, confirmed. All right. Well, he's going to try to jump back on, but again, we'll kick things off like normal. So I'll do Dan's normal spiel here. So this is the Dr. Nick's YouTube channel. This is the doctor's orders. And apparently today I am your host, Dr. Nick, and we're just going to kind of roll with that until Dan comes back, because he's much better at that part than I am. And it looks like, hold on, there he is. I already stole your intro. I stole the whole thing. So now you don't even get to do it.
Love it. And I would say, if I do cut out, guys, Nick, oh my God.
What was that?
Whoa. I can't even show you guys. I can't even look. What the? Dude, this is the weirdest day of my life.
Did someone just fall?
Oh my God. A robin just ran into the glass door next to me and was squirming around. It just ran off, so I hope it's okay. Oh my. Right here. I'm not showing. I wasn't going to show you
right there, dude.
Wow.
So Dan just got through what the news is calling a
what is going on
in Muskegon, in Michigan. And it made national news. I'm sure everyone has seen it, and especially a lot of you guys are around that area. It made national news. It was this morning. It was on the news in Boston. They're literally calling it a generational storm. It wasn't even a tornado. It was just a massive thunderstorm. No. And of course, they're in a tin can of a camper on a campground when they get like a generational storm that's splitting in half like 200-year-old trees. And so Dan's like barely here, you know, but you know, so far I'm going to give you the mic back because your internet looks like it's working. So like, let's hear you while we can.
Yeah. If you jump in anytime, I'll just take it. But yeah, in Garden State, birds crashing the windows, but not 3 feet in front of me outside. That was nuts.
Dude.
I didn't like that. Wow.
No.
So yeah, just to give you guys kind of a brief rundown before I get cut off with intermittent internet, we've had thunderstorms the last few nights and nothing different. We wake up at 5 o'clock this morning to hail. Of course, I went to bed after 2 o'clock, so I'm on less than 3 hours too. And we had hail and then crazy wind, crazy thunder. So I pull up the Weather Channel and it says destructive severe thunderstorm. And to get the destructive classification in Michigan is very rare. And so that was unique. And the winds, guys, the wind, they got crews all over the place, like just buzzing around.
You got like the National Guard rolling around.
Yep. National Guard, state troopers, they've brought everything in. There was over 80 miles per hour wind. It was for several hours. And we just drove around the town because we're only at the campsite and we're out of power. We have no shower. We have no water. We have no power, no air, no anything. And I know that's camping. I get it. That's why I went from glamping to camping. And we drove around. We just had a tornado in our hometown, Grand Blanc, like 2 months ago. This 10X's that. Everywhere you drive, there's state trooper, sheriff, here, there. You can't go this way. You can't go that way. Multiple locations where there's 4 ways to go. You can only go one. They had to bring in state troopers to direct traffic so semis could turn around because they couldn't maneuver in these areas. Huge oak trees, maple trees, all split and falling on people's houses. I mean, just guys, look up pictures of Whitehall, Michigan or Muskegon, Michigan. And this is crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. I don't even know what to think. And it did rattle Sam pretty good, knowing that there's a giant tree next to our trailer and other trees fell and stuff. So that was, yeah. Dude, I'm sure I'll have more, but man, it was crazy.
That's intense. And like when you were telling me about it this morning, I was like, I was sitting there catching up on news, and like 4 headlines came by about it, and I was literally just about to text you, and then the text came in from you, and you're like, we're camping, everyone's all right, and you kind of told me the story, but I was like, oh dear God. I'm like, you're like right in the middle of it. Like the town you're camping in, it was like the name of the town in half the headlines that I saw this morning.
Yep. Yeah, we are, if anybody's curious, we're directly across from Michigan Adventure, which is owned by Cedar Point, big amusement park here. And this town, it's just destroyed out there. Everything is flooded. There's entire like parking lots that are just there was one road that was completely flooded. They had an orange cone and just the tip was sticking out. I don't know if that's gonna alert anybody. And
I'll leave that one alone.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'll leave the So
I don't want to get in trouble again. I don't want to get standards and practices that's downstairs getting mad at me again.
HR is vicious here.
HR is the owners of this company are really sticklers about what happens on this stream. You don't want to mess with them.
Yep, you gotta be careful. So yeah, we can circle back to that and talk a little bit later. But just to give you guys an idea, that was just crazy, so loud. And we're in a RV, not even an RV, guys. We're in a travel trailer. So this is a thing that's just on wheels and then 4 weak stabilizers. And so that thing is moving, that thing's going. And if we drove around this morning, at like multiple trailers had their awnings completely destroyed. Tons of people had out like the pop-up tents, which you should have brought those down, but those were all just mangled. They just left them just by the road. Everybody's left. We're going to leave after this stream and head back. We were supposed to be here till Thursday, but we're like, there's no power. There's no sight of any restoration time. And so we're going to hit it after this. And we are all 100% fine. Absolutely no damage to us, no damage to our stuff. So we're good, but Yep. Everything's okay. Back home is okay. So we have power back home. So that's good. It kind of weekend over the state. Just a wild morning. There's a shout out to a Facebook group or Facebook channel and YouTube channel, Michigan Storm Chasers. These guys are good. And they kept us informed and stuff. So it was, cool. Yeah, it was helpful. And
Facebook group that the meteorologists there get all of their updates from and then regurgitate on the news.
Straight up. We have a guy who used to be a teacher locally. They call him the snowbird or something like that. He started making weather patterns and developments himself and reading them. And he started making a Facebook group giving updates to teachers about snow days. He turned it into a Patreon. He now has 160,000 members for $10 a month. And some teachers Yeah. Some teachers only do it during the winter months, but that's 3 months of 160,000 people times 10. He retired from teaching, and that's what he's doing full time. And the way he destroys the news and the meteorologist is so satisfying.
Oh, that's fantastic. Because it's funny too, because I talked to some people, about a lot of people don't have cable anymore. I'm one of them. And we all talk about the alternatives that we use to get local station news, just in case you do want local broadcast news. And a lot of people, go from the $30 a month Hulu plan to the $75 a month Hulu plan, because that's the one that gives you local channels. So if you think about that, one of the only reasons I get local news is for local weather updates, things like that. It's if that was regional, 1,000% I'd subscribe to that Patreon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you'd save money and you're supporting a local person and business.
Yeah, instead of Time Warner or
Yep.
CBS.
Yep. And kind of with all that said, if you guys could hit that thumbs up for us, we make it happen, rain or shine.
Dude, I'll tell you what, man.
We live it. We're better than the post office in that regard.
Oh, this is fantastic.
It's so good. And with that, the topic of today, this is the first time I can remember in having a beard at 1:00 in the afternoon where I have not started the day with what you're about to talk about, kind of leading in with a story here, Nick, about a speech. And I am so off because everything we're going to talk about today, I have not done. Of all days, today is the one. So, Nick, what's our theme today and what's going on?
Well, dude, that's actually a perfect day to talk about this, though, because we can talk about how it helps, but what's a sunny day without a rainy day, right? And this is a perfect example of a very rainy day. And you can talk about how when you're used to something and you don't get to do it, how that impacts you, much less the positive side of it. So this will actually be kind of cool. We get to hear the adoption and kind of the positive impact. Then we get to see like what happens when you take it away. But that's exactly it, man. We're going to talk today about beard care leads to all over care. And so, I want to kind of clarify, I guess, sort of where my head goes with the topic. And Dan and I both had kind of the same idea last week when we talked about it. Go figure. And what it was not necessarily saying like, oh, when you take care of your beard, it leads to all over care because you're cleaning your pores and you're keeping your hair clean. What we're talking about is the practice of doing something for yourself that's good for you, that you enjoy, and you do it in a way that you like, and it becomes part of your routine, becomes part of your life. And we feel like that mentality is infectious and it seeps into other parts of your life. And I guess to kind of frame up where my head goes with it, this is the first thing I thought of when Dan talked about this with me. There's a bunch of you guys have probably seen it. There's a University of Texas, Austin, 2014 commencement address, and it was by Admiral McRaven. And this guy basically goes into this speech and he talks about the importance of how come in the military they make you make your bed every day a certain way, right? And what he talks about is the importance of starting your day off by doing something right. And he says that even if it's the tiniest thing, like making your bed, starting your day off by doing something the right way and doing something that is on a schedule, it makes you, there's a sense of priority and there's a sense of accomplishment. Uh-oh, what do we got?
Do you see the tractor getting all the tree like trunks and branches?
Is that what he's doing?
Yeah, so they brought in garbage trucks. They brought in like salt trucks that they use in the winter. They got full out tractors and they're just pulling trees away. I mean, it's constant.
They're not even everything them up on site. They're just dragging them to a central spot.
Literally dragging them with tractors.
Dude, it's like this is, so I mean, we're going to keep going back and forth to this as things develop. It's literally like an apocalypse movie. Like, think about what happens on these apocalypse movies, right? Where like all of a sudden there's this big disaster, there's all this stuff, and there's National Guard, and then birds start flying into buildings, things like that start happening. And like, okay, so like pestilence, and we're in a year of dual locust, right? Okay, and so dual locusts. We got bugs coming out of the ground in swarms.
Cicadas.
We got birds flying into windows. We got generational storms, and we got National Guard driving around with tractors ripping out trees. Like, are you armed? Like, do you have like? I hope that trailer's got like an AR-15 in it.
This is nuts. So yeah, it'll be a fluid situation. We'll keep it posted from the ground, guys. We do the reporting real time here.
That's right. We wear the clock, so you don't know what time it is. Here we are.
Yes. All right, go ahead.
Yes. So back to the speech. It was an amazing speech, and there was no way that I could possibly even do it justice because that guy's a living legend. But I guess my point is just like how he says, something as stupid as making your bed every morning. What are we doing with a beard routine, right? He says it can be anything, right? You do one thing right in the morning, and that starts the momentum of more things happening right in your day. So we're not talking about like just all over body care. We're talking about all over like life care, right? And it's kind of goes with the whole thing about the way you do anything is the way you do everything. And that is what we're talking about here. We're talking about beard care instills inside of you not only just a routine, but a self-care process that not only makes you feel good, it gives you confidence, makes you look good, smell good, feel good, healthy skin, etc. But mentally, what does that do, right? I think mentally, it sets you up for success later in the day, because when you start off by taking care of yourself, you're less likely to do something later in the day that does the opposite and hurts your well-being, hurts your health, hurts your emotional state, hurts your mind. You're going to be more guarded, I think, about yourself. And also the things that come at you, the arrows that come at you throughout the day, they're more likely to pass through you when you feel good and confident. Because when like you're feeling off and you feel like you're off your game, things happen, and those are way more likely to affect you in a negative way or in a more impactful way, right? It's like the old Chinese proverb of everyone gets shot by arrows in war, right? And the trick is to, let those arrows pass through you, right? Because if you get struck by an arrow, the next one that hits you is the second arrow. But if you let the arrow pass through you, the next arrow to hit you is just the first arrow to hit you again. And that passes through you, and then so on. So you don't end up dying by 1,000 paper cuts of a bunch of arrows sticking out of you. You end up being, whole, right, at the end of it. And so they say not to focus and dwell on the things that come at you, because then you're going to attract more of the same, is the basic idea that they're trying to get across there. And I think all of this is the same thing, right? Like making your bed in the morning, doing a routine that's good for your health, good for your mind, good for your confidence, and starting your day off with those things is what's going to give you the confidence in other areas of life to do more good stuff. And I'll throw one more in there, not to be too full of metaphors and euphemisms today, but there's this other thing it's actually part of the Japanese business theory. And it's not so much a Japanese business theory. It was invented in the United States. It was made famous by Japan. There's a whole bunch of crap behind that. We won't get into it. It's called Kaizen. And the idea behind Kaizen is incremental improvement. Doing one thing better today than you did yesterday is the idea. And they say that if you did one thing even this much better than you did it yesterday, that means you're a better person today than you were the day before. And so I think all this stuff kind of folds into the same thing. And it sounds so stupid, right? We're talking about beard care and then how it like impacts the rest of your life, but it's not. I think it really, really does. We could be talking about anything, right? We could be talking about Kachava protein powder that makes you feel good in the morning and you do it every day. We could talk about a gym regimen that you do, a workout. Maybe it's a combined thing where beard, the gym leads to a shower, leads to beard care. And then by the end of that, like I do every morning, is the gym, and then the shower, then the beard routine. And I feel like I've already kind of accomplished a lot that day. And you kind of enter the day with like this, I'm going to kick today's ass sort of feeling behind you, as opposed to, oh man, I wonder what is going to happen next, And it's mental, it's physical, it's appearance, all that stuff.
Yeah. And I have a super, like, to me was kind of like a profound thought on this over the last week. And that is, as always, in so much of the stuff we talk about, many times us as men are behind women in these regards. Now, there's, I think, other aspects where we could say the same for men and women, vice versa. But in regards to doing something for yourself, for your appearance, to make yourself feel good, how many guys get ready to go to work in the morning and it's the bare freaking minimum? It's the just good enough where, that'll work. As compared to taking care of your beard, there's many of us watching right now where we get our beard going and we're like, I look good. I smell good. I feel good. And that kind of boosts your day. Whereas traditional, right, manly men, that's never a thought. That's never a process. It's just like, good enough. And to take it a step further, people might ask, like, man, why is beard care so addicting? Right? They love the products, they love the tools, they love the videos, the routines. We are addicted to it. We can admit that there's healthy addictions out there. Right. And then you're like, right? Like, what other things are there similar? Oh, what about the wet shave community? Massive wet shave community for men, where huge. It's the same stuff that we do. They do videos, they have communities, they do streams, same thing. They put a lot of care into that shave, into that process. Yeah. And I guarantee it's therapeutic for them, just like it is for us when we do the routine in the morning. Mm-hmm. And I think that's evidence right there that, you're doing something more than just taking care of this hair that naturally grows on your face. You step out, and like we talked about when we are donating to the homeless, how important is it for them to go to a job interview and think, I actually feel good, I look good, I smell good. We're no different. Like right now, if I had to have something important, I feel like crap. I don't feel good about myself. Here's a little spoiler. I haven't even brushed my teeth yet. So I got the grit all over my teeth. Like, this is not a fun way to start my day. I have not made a bed. I've survived. And so on a normal baseline now where I start and get ready and get to go in the mirror and do this afterwards, say, yep, oh yeah. And then it's to smell it and then call my wife over, hey babe, come smell. And she's like, oh man, that's something foreign to most men generationally. That's something foreign that we don't have. And those of us that do indulge, those of us that have dipped our toes in the water, we're like, this is amazing. And I am so much more productive. I'm so much happier. I'm a better husband. I'm a better father. And again, of course, people might make fun of that. People might take that lightly, but it's weighing on me heavy with how positive it is. It really is.
So there's also, I think there's a chemical and hormone side to this too that we really can't ignore, right? Like when people say, like when you pet a dog, right? Or when you're like, so like oxytocin is produced like with mothers when they breastfeed. It's produced when couples are on the couch watching a movie together and you're like touching each other's hands, arms, etc. All those, like the close contact hormone that happens, oxytocin, it's they call it like, what do they call it? Like the love hormone, the snuggle hormone, all that kind of stuff. And it brings a feeling of closeness. It brings a feeling of warmth and love and all that kind of stuff. And so the funny thing is oxytocin can also be released in your brain by literally petting a cat, petting a dog, right? And they have shown that self-care, be it shaving, like the wet shave community, or taking care of your beard, as you're doing those things, the motion that's involved with doing it and the way you're stimulating your skin and your hair, that's an oxytocin releasing activity. Funny enough, they've also shown, I looked this up a few days ago when I was thinking about this live stream, is that in lab rats, they actually discovered that the higher levels of oxytocin that they introduced to the rats increased the amount of self-grooming that those rats did while they were on their own. So think about that. That's a revolving door of good hormones, right? Because the more oxytocin you have, the more you feel like taking care of yourself. And guess what? Taking care of yourself in a routine induces oxytocin release. So you're literally getting more of what you need to do what you're doing by doing what you're doing. So, I mean, there's a very chemical, biological reason why I think what we're talking about here actually makes like a ton of sense.
Oh, no doubt. And Nick, I'm guessing you wrote some notes down on this because you're a beast. If not, jot something down because this will be spoiler. This will be a video. Just like the concept of why we're addicted to beard care, and then oxytocin. That I think makes so much sense with everything we're talking here. And then that kind of spirals and goes into like what everybody was saying earlier, such as who do we have? Phil said, I'm now more pushed to drink more water. How much does that affect you in other areas of life? Because you started with your beard and you're going through. I mean, it's literally endless, the dominoes that can fall by doing one thing, like making your bed or taking care of your beard.
Dude, 100%. And it's like, think of all, and like you talk about that. Let's talk about that one for a minute. I'm actually, for some reason, I'm hung up on the biological side of this because I find it fascinating. Hydration levels, right? If you're drinking soda and you're drinking things with, just bad stuff in them, and you're not giving your body what it needs, which is water. Remember, idiocracy, it's what plants crave, electrolytes, is that they, all the hormones that we're talking about, the building block, the precursor, the most important precursor of any hormone production is hydration and is water. And it's having enough water in your system to be able to do those things. I mean, you're helping your blood pressure, you're helping your cholesterol, you're helping your metabolism, your glycemic index, you're helping your lipid system, your lymph system, and everything else that carries in your nerve and sensory system. And then guess what? While you're sleeping, what does your pituitary gland use more than any other chemical in your body to do what it does? Which, by the way, is a whole bunch of really important stuff. It's water. And it can't do it if you're dehydrated. So it's like, even that small thing, like, I want my beard to be healthy. Well, hydration starts from the inside out. Okay, cool. I need to drink more water. Like, how many times have you been told in your life you need to drink more water? And you're like, yeah. And then all of a sudden you were like, I like beards. I want it to be bigger. And they're like, drink water. And you're like, on it.
Whatever the gateway is to that health is amazing. You wouldn't know how many times I've heard from wives that are like, hey, I've been telling my husband to drink more water for years. He's never even looked at a glass of water. He starts watching your channel, and now the dude has walking around with a gallon jug. And I'm like, hey, whatever works. It's like being a parent where you tell your kid something over and over again, and then the cool teacher says it once and they miraculously listen. It's the same thing. Whatever works, whatever gets you there.
Dude, 100%. And B-Cause is like a shining example of this. Like, this dude has been through an emotional journey with depression. He's been through, I hope you don't mind me saying, because I mean, you said it here, so I'm repeating what you said. I won't bring anything up that you haven't. But, and I know you've posted pictures a lot about the weight loss and fitness journey. It's one of those things where, like, not everybody who doesn't know B-Cause here personally, like we do, he has more fighting against him than a lot of us do that don't do half of what he does. So, I mean, in the face of huge resistance, I mean, this guy has made a complete U-turn in the way that he eats, the way that he takes care of himself, the things that he puts in his body, and the way he works out. And a lot of it he credits to to his personal care routine and regimen. Like, that's what got him. He's like, wow, if I do this, it makes this feel better. Just imagine if these other changes I make could make me feel better in those ways. And next thing you know, depression's out the window. He's come out of a cave that he was in for a long time. He's finally getting out into the world again. The confidence is back. You know what I mean? Winning gold medals at beard competitions and being on stage. I mean, I don't think I'm out of line by saying I think a big part of that was not only just the routine, but the community that people that are kind of into those routines tend to create, and how we build each other up and we're supportive. I think it's been a huge combination of things that came together for him to make that happen.
Yep. And we could go on for story after story, but the precipice of all this is beard care. And to give like a real example, and this isn't tooting anybody's horn, this is the community. We may have saved someone's life on Command's Corner last night. They came in, it's a community member, very open, very vulnerable, really for the first time, and was like, hey, I'm not doing good. I'm actually having some rampant suicidal thoughts tonight, and I can't get rid of them. We kind of all obviously rallied as friends in the chat, and there was some really kind of almost Dr. Nick's time and space freakiness going on, where he started sharing, and this was all public last night, and one of my friends, Jesus, was like, because I put out there, I was like, guys, I'm not special. Like, I'm here to talk to anybody, but I said so many others are. If you're willing to have people reach out to you, put your info in the chat, and so many people did. And one of them who was really adamant was Jesus Arroyo. And he said, hey, reach out to me. Here's my Instagram. Here's my Facebook. I know tough times. Let me know. After that, right? So Jesus already gave himself as an example of someone that can reach out to with the community, with having negative thoughts, suicide, depression, anxiety. And after that, the person who was having the suicidal thoughts said, thank you. Essentially, I'm struggling. I'm on disability. I feel like I can't provide for my family. And I want to be a good father, a good husband. And then he said, I have spina bifida. Loop back. Jesus in all caps goes, holy crap, I have spina bifida. They both had it. And when Jesus is like, I've been through some dark times. I've had a tough life. The other person's name was Josh, saying, I've been through some tough times, I had a dark life. Neither of them knew that they were talking about the same journey. Now, I guaranteed they're allies and friends for life. And it was all because of beard care. This was not a spina bifida stream. It was not a mental health stream. It was not a suicide stream. All because of that was changing lives because of that exact same thing.
Maybe saving
exact
one.
Same thing. It was a beautiful coming together. And that's what we're talking about right here. It also, and I told him, Josh, I said, dude, he apologized. We're like, man, never, ever apologize for that. You made it a special stream. I said, you also I guarantee helped other people that had those same thoughts but weren't saying them, and they learned things. We gave out the like local mobile crisis numbers. It was all because of beard care that was able to help that. And I was thinking about that too. You and I have recently had a conversation where we have noticed that our community, a lot of people that do struggle with mental health, such as anxiety, such as depression, they are drawn to this community. And we take that wholeheartedly, and we take that very seriously as being a safe place for them, as being a spot that anybody can come to judgment free, no matter what. And with that said, it was kind of like this. It's like, are they drawn because there's support and camaraderie? Absolutely. But also, is there that therapeutic process of having control over something where you get to sit down, you get to take care of your beard, you get to, for 10 minutes, forget about all those other stresses and start with a step higher on your day with all the stuff we talked about? It's almost like all of this comes together as just like this like perfect painting of what we're talking about.
Dude, dead on. And I mean, look at some, I mean, so everyone's brain needs that, right? Everyone's brain needs something that they feel like they have control over, they can dictate, like they're their own person, they're moving forward in their own life. Let's take the other side of this coin, right? And look at what other people have done that are out there in order to have that control, right? Look at people who are hoarders. Look at people who are, you know, are over animal adopters. Look at people that are obsessive eaters, people that, you know, are other self-mutilation acts, things like that. Those are all coping mechanisms, right? And just like we talked about before, is like, you know, we all cope with things. But this is like a positive way to do it, and it's a positive way to have control. But look what your mind does if you don't have that. You know what I mean? Like, of course, like there's lots of things your mind can do to spiral, and you're like, well, I have control of that. They say the reason people are hoarders isn't so much they feel the need to have things. They like the control of choosing what to give away because it gives them a feeling of accomplishment when they throw things out, you know? So it's almost like the brain's ability to forget is more important to remember. It's that kind of concept for those people, I think. But it's you know, everyone's brain needs it, and your brain will find a way to make you feel like you have some kind of dictation and control over your life. It's just, if left to its own devices, brain doesn't always pick the best path to go. What we got there?
So this is a chemical service corporation.
Okay, Chemical Service Corporation.
I don't even know what they could be doing. Big old semi.
Let's look them up.
I don't know, something leaked or, yeah.
Chemical Service Co. We're committed to the craft of welding and serving you with honesty, quality, and value. Chemical Service Co. Service Chemical Incorporated. Maybe they're out there fixing buildings or something like they're, I don't know. Who knows?
It must be. That's crazy. This is nuts. And yeah, here again, guys, you can see let me see if I can get it right. The tractor. There's that right there coming through.
Oh, yep. You can see the front of it coming in right now. Yep. Oh, yeah. He's just, yep. Look at that.
Yep. Just dragging them down in front. They have a bunch of them. They have like backloaders. They've got, this is so crazy.
Dude, that's
fuel
insane.
leak. It could be a fuel leak.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
That's what I figured Chemical Service Corporation would be like. Let's see. I bet there's a bunch of places named Chemical Service Corporation, and it's probably a classification of company too. It's gonna be impossible to find them.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
But I mean, yeah. What's because saying there? We buy beard with it's rough. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. His wife not able to get on disability either. That sucks because of course. So, I mean, yeah, you get into those situations, you're not even worried about the health condition. You're worried about the administrative bureaucratic crap behind it. That's like, are you going to fall on one side of you get what you need or not?
Right. And to kind of pivot, and we can come back to any and all of this, you guys, if you have comments, if you have topics, if you have questions about what we're going over today, drop it in the chat. And to go on the more obvious route of how beard care can lead to overall care, not just mental, not just starting your day. So many of us in the chat have done things like drink more water. But beyond that, I myself have literally changed the way I look at shampoo, conditioner, body wash, toothpaste. I changed my gosh dang toothpaste because of this journey. And especially another one that, Nick, whatever you feel comfortable with sharing on an update here, I think we give them a little bit of a teaser because they've been on the loop. They've been the ones developing this roadmap. And what other area have you started to look at, Mr. Nick?
On top of the other ones that you just mentioned, which we are going to come back to: skin, shower, hair, moisturizing, I mean, body wash, face wash, everything, right? I look at it all different now, including toothpaste as well, is deodorant, right? And I gave an update on this last week. Everyone knows that we've been working for over a year to come up with a natural deodorant. And so, I finally just made my way last week. Of course, we had a heat wave when this happened. So perfect time and worst time, I guess, question mark, to test.
So perfect.
Oh God, not perfect for me, bro. Like, all right. So here goes. Some of we updated a little bit last week, and I do have photos that we are going to include eventually on Instagram when this gets a little further down the road. I started having a reaction to my terrible aluminum-filled Old Spice deodorant. I won't say the brand name anymore, but there it is.
It's just a fact, though. That's real. I mean, you were using Old Spice and you had a reaction. You have pictures.
And it's not disparaging or anything else. It's just my personal experience that I'm sharing.
Yep.
And so I started getting a rash, and it was like from here, from here down to here. Like, it was full red rash. So Jill said the best way to start, the process is to purge all that crap out of your system, to the point where 3 days later, 4 days later, after not using it, I would get out of the shower and she'd still smell it on me. Like, it was still coming out of my pores. And so I tried a couple of natural deodorants, and a couple of them are ones that celebrities are out there that have said really good things about certain brands. Aquaman, for example, is a fictional character, but his real life person, he has a favorite deodorant. And I tried the baking soda cornstarch wax based ones. And I last week went with one that had most of those things in it, and it's most of the things in it that are also in a lot of other really popular brands right now. And I smelled like an Italian sub for a week. Like, I'm not even kidding you when I say that I went through 3 shirts every single day last week. I burned every single one of them. And I had 2 showers a day. I'm never a 2 shower a day person. I was showering twice a day, at least 3 shirts a day. And like, I didn't even want to cook with onions because it reminded me of myself that entire day. That's how bad it was. It was bad.
Dang.
And I'm going to go on and on about how awful some of these were someday when I get further down this road. So Jill has been using, we're not going to name what it is, but she's been using it's not an all natural deodorant. It's a clean ingredient deodorant, meaning there's nothing toxic in it, right? But there are artificial ingredients. So she's like, listen, this stuff works. And so I started using it. And 3 days in, like literally first day, no stink. And it's mostly unscented. It's got a little bit of a botanical scent added to it, which again, I'm not going to name, but it was very mild. And dude, I'm telling you, I had no smell whatsoever. 4 days in a row. This is the 5th day. I love it. The formulation that she has will not work for us. 1, it's not all natural. 2, it's a liquid in a roller ball, which I don't know if any of you have tried a roller ball deodorant before, but I personally...
Wait. I was going to say, does it catch the hair in the... So it's not designed for us necessarily.
If we are talking about good ways to start your day, I can promise you that using a rollerball deodorant that one at a time rips out your armpit hairs is not a positive way to start your day.
Noted.
It's like fingers in a door, fingers on a chalkboard, fingernails, whole thing. Literally, like every roll, pluck, all the way down. Really bad. Yeah, definitely hair. I hate those roller balls. Can confirm, my friend.
Okay.
So listen, here's what I did. So I decided to go way down the rabbit hole and utilize a bunch of things to basically figure out all natural replacements for the different elements that were inside of this clean ingredient deodorant. and a way, I think, to solidify it and make it work in paper tubes, not in a roller ball and not in a liquid. So all the things are on the way right now to formulate this from scratch. I ran that list of ingredients through Google, looked what had Dr. Google had to say, and it is a formulation that doesn't exist out there. And it's not a formulation that is out there in any other product. And the all natural, it's going to be a straight Dr. Nick's original. And Jill and I are hard at work. We're going to be in the lab all week working on it. I hope to have it in pit next week.
Oh man, that's exciting.
Uh-oh. He got so excited.
All right, am I still here?
Oh, he was back. But now he's not. Now he's muted. Okay. Well, continue on that for a minute. So I'm going to be giving updates on this, but I mean, if my research is what I think it is, and we have found a way to do that formulation and get that effect with all natural ingredients, man, we are like really in for something special. It's looking good. Yep. Boop.
All right. Mic check, mic check.
1 2 1 2.
All right. I got attacked by a bee.
Oh, did you? You got so excited.
Yeah.
We thought you just spazzed out and hit your video button.
No, a bee started attacking me, and then the lady in the phone, I'm not going to say her name right now, she started spazzing too.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But dude, that's amazing. I am beyond excited, and it's so cool that everybody has been like along for this journey, and shout out to Jill for, I know you had to deal with it, but she had to deal with it too.
Dude, and I was like, so Jill and I have this funny thing. People say that like sometimes you meet someone that you're such a good fit for, like both emotionally and mentally, but also chemically. So Jill would always be like, "Ooh, I stink today," and I'd be like, "No, you don't. I don't smell anything." Like,
yeah, same.
I actually don't really smell it. When Jill complains about being stinky, I don't smell it. And when I was like actively smelling like onions, she's like, she would give me a little smell fee, you know. She like, it wasn't that bad. She's like, I don't really smell anything. It's not that bad. And I was
That's
like,
so interesting.
It's that bad.
We're the same way. Like Sam will be like, oh, because Sam, she's going, you guys know, we've been very open. Yep. She's going through the detox process and stuff. And she'll be like, oh man, that one did me dirty. And I'm like, I slept right next to you. I didn't smell anything. And I think she always thinks I'm just trying to be nice, you know? And it's genuine. I did not smell anything. And so that's interesting.
Yeah, it's funny how Jill can tell me like, hey, sometimes I should think before I talk, like I have too much not filter, and then other times she thinks I'm saying ththings just to be nice. Like, listen, if you ever think I'm telling you something just to be nice, chances are you're wrong, because I'm that's not usually my MO.
We're once again, we're on the same page. Like if I tell you something, it's the honest truth, and it's like I always tell people, if you're gonna ask me a question, be prepared for the answer. So I'm gonna tell you. And that has a lot of good to it, but it also has a lot of challenge to it at times.
Oh yeah.
And we've both ran into that. But randomly, coincidentally, we both have that same personality, but it works so dang well together. You would think there might be clashing, never once.
Nick's Pits have been the best Netflix special since Stranger Things.
Oh my gosh.
I love it. Oh, this is fantastic. Yeah, Nick's Pits. Nick's Pits, I was thinking about starting its own Instagram, you know, just have Nick's Pits, and it'll just kind of give updates about, you know, its journey. But man, I'll
dude, please.
But if we go back to the other stuff you're talking about, it 1000% hits so many other areas, because like I used to use like crap for shower gel, for body wash, you know what I mean? Like I used to use the one I was using for the longest time, actually was the Neutrogena, it was like it was orange liquid in a clear bottle with a white top, and it's called like the Neutrogena Body Clear or something like that.
Same, dude, literally same, since I was like a teenager.
No, I've been using that since I was like 16.
Yes.
And then when they're out of it, you got to buy the CVS generic ones with the little beads in it, and it smells like grapefruit, which basically comes pre-BO scented.
Dude, I just was gonna mention the beads from the knockoff ones. That's so freaking funny. That's literally my progression of using products.
You guys,
and I would get,
by the way, you guys must have thought me and Dan were full of it last week when we agreed on something, and we'll share photos. Actually, you should post both of our photos.
Oh yeah.
Because when I got home, I sent Dan. I was like, go figure. The first time I buy a multi-pack of deodorant that I've been buying for 20 years is the month that I start getting a reaction and can't use it. He's like, I have a pack of mine at home. And I sent him a photo of mine, and I got home, and I was like, I wasn't even kidding, like at all. I got home, and I took this photo. I was like, this is my bathroom counter right now.
And then go to our text and show him my picture. Because it was the exact same thing, a big sleeve, one out, and then I have never used it since, and I don't have the heart to throw it away.
It wasn't even that long ago, and I have to go through like 18 pages of things to get like to recent text between us. So, okay, here was my photo that I sent Dan when I got home. And then here was Dan's photo that he sent me when he got home. Like, hold on. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the bag, 1 out. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 in the bag, 1 out. So, like, come on. And we both stopped using it. Like, and that's the first time either one of us had bought a multi-pack. The most I'd ever bought before that was 2.
Ever.
Once in a while, they had like the
I was 1. I usually went to the store. Yeah, true. I have done that. And then the ones with the beads of the wash we were talking about, I would get those when it would be like the buy one, get one free super discount. I'm like, oh, all right, give it a try. No, not anywhere near as good. Now, looking back, I'm not proud of either of them, but that's so crazy. That's what I used.
Dude, that's so funny. And my thought was like, okay, well, I mean, like this has got to be the best of a bad situation, right? Like, listen, I know this ingredients list is a paragraph long, but I don't like Castile soap because it makes me feel like the surface of a wetsuit, you know? And so I'm like, what do? You know, I don't like Dr. Bronner's because it's too clean. It's one ingredient, it's olive oil and sodium hydroxide, and that's it.
Yep.
But at the same time, I'm like, I want to use something that's decent. So I was like, hey, I can see through it, and it's made by Neutrogena, same place that makes my bright blue face wash. This stuff must be great. And you know, it's like that stuff's got all kinds of terrible things in it, surfactants and all kinds of foaming agents and all kinds of crap. And on top of that, then of course the face wash wasn't any better. The bright blue stuff where you feel like you get out of the shower and like someone's blowing in your face with an Andes mint or something, or it's like an Altoid getting blown in your face when you get out of the shower. And it's like, oh, that's not good. Like I thought my skin was supposed to feel tight and dry.
Right. And I always convinced myself the one area I couldn't compromise on was smell. And so it was like the wash of the body and then the deodorant. And in my mind, there was no way I could achieve the same level of no smell with natural stuff. And then to be truly honest, since switching to your face wash, since switching to your body wash, since using other natural deodorants, can't freaking wait to try these ones. I am like kicking myself. It reminds me of guys that wait too long to shave their head, where they put it off, then they shave it, and they're like, why didn't I do that 5 years ago? That's how I am now with that deodorant and the body wash. I'm like, not only did I match it, genuinely, it is better than what I was before.
Oh, it's better. Yeah, because you don't smell like a high school locker room anymore. And that's a big thing, man. Like, you know, it's like what I smelled like last night. I was sweaty at the end of the day, right? Just like normal because I'm not wearing. And the funny thing is, though, is like I cut out an antiperspirant, but I didn't find myself after the first week. I'm not like a faucet anymore in my arm. Like I'm dry now. Like there's
no. If anything, I sweat less. And
I do sweat a little less, I think. And I think I sweat less in other parts of your body because you're not like choking out those pores now.
And that's what I was just gonna say. Yeah. Like before, I was fine. I never smelled. I'll be honest. When I was using the crap deodorant, I never really smelled. You didn't until last week. And with it, I only had that mindset if I used it every single day. I had to use it every day. If I didn't, it was like a mini detox process started the very next day. With this, I can take time up. I haven't done anything today, and I am golden. And so that's a huge, huge, huge difference. And it's like such a weight off my shoulders. I don't think about it. It's not on my mind. I constantly used to check if I smelled. I constantly used to check if I was sweating. Now I don't sweat as much. I don't ever smell. And if I do, I'm just of the mindset that I'm supposed to. If my body is sweating, guess what? That's what it's made to do. I'm not going to fill with metal to stop it from doing that.
1000%, dude. Like I'm right there with you now. And I feel like now if I get to the point where I'm like sweating like crazy, then guess what? Like that's what my body needed to do then. And I'm, you know, hey, drink some water, replace it, and keep going. It's just, you know, trying to plug the geysers is just like such a bad idea. But people here are talking about like the you know, the body wash being such a game changer for him. I know it was for you. I know it was for me.
Yep. And Sam too.
Yeah. And our friend Candace, she works at a restaurant down the street, and we brought some in for her. And she put it in her bathroom and gave some to her, gave one bottle to their kids. Next thing she knows, she goes to get in the shower. Body wash is gone. The kids have it in their bathroom. And they're like, when you getting more of this Dr. Nick stuff? Because I don't want to use my other body wash anymore. It's like, you know, now like they're teenage kids. Like when does a 13, 14 or 15-year-old ever care about what they smell like or use in the shower if they take showers? And now they're like, I need to take a shower, but I need that body wash from your bathroom first. It's like
that's so cool. And same, I said it before, but Sam is super apprehensive about trying certain types of products because she's had bad experiences. Yeah. Body wash was one. She will not use anything else. She's already gone through a bottle of number 9, and she's on her second, and absolutely loves it. Freaking loves it. And so it's amazing. And I think I am going to hit you with this. And again, as always, take it where you want. We're unleashing the concept of this deodorant that you're working on, maybe plural. Now, hold on, guys.
Yep.
Now, this is not labels. This is not packaging. This is not anything near that yet. Do you have any like dream situation where this could be released? Like, is it a fall, a winter? Or are we looking 2025?
No, I think, okay, so the next 5 days are going to be very telling. But I can say before I would have said 2025, but before last week. As of this week, I say confidently 2024. And like I'm on the scent at this point. Like we are, no pun intended. Like we're down to the point now where I'm gonna have a first pilot of this, and I'm gonna be the one in the lab with the rubber gloves on with this one, because I have a ratio and a formula and an outcome in mind, and I don't feel like driving Jill nuts with 100 versions before what's in my head comes out. I'll do it to myself that way. You know, I would love to see this kind of thing later Q4 of this year. You know, that would be ideal for me. And it might even be a little sooner, I'll be perfectly honest. And it's if this test works out the way that it does, I'm not going to walk to the finish line on this one. Like I'm going to run like full speed sprint, move the hurdles I'm running down to get it done. So it's and just so you guys know, no baking soda, no cornstarch. And another unique piece about this one, it's going to be vegan on top of all natural, no beeswax or anything else that's animal derived as a part of it.
No beeswax.
Nope.
Nice. A little Cerba, little plant wax in there.
Yep. It's
all
going to
right.
be plant-based.
I like it. And yeah. Nice. Now, I don't know if you guys saw that little twinkle in Nick's eye. This is my favorite version of Nick. Nick is an idea master to the masses. He will out idea anybody in the world. And most of them are like, we're going to get to him, and we will get to him. It's just priority list. When Nick gets that twinkle of something where he's like, nope, nose down, get to work. I'm going to do this before it becomes a problem for Jill. Watch out, because that Nick does not stop. And that I love that Nick, you guys, and we're seeing it here.
Oh, I have spreadsheets, ratio calculators. I've gotten now down to the point where I have this thing running through a formula that looks this thing up to make sure the molecular weight is proper to not soak through cardboard. I mean, I've got down to that point now.
I see it. I read this, man, and that's exciting because man, we're here. Sam still hasn't found the one for her yet either. So we're going to have a great test subject for you as well.
Well, and that's another thing too. Yeah, we gotta talk about that because there might need to be a pilot of the Inspo DO on top of the Dr. Nick's DO for your Miko.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I got you. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
But dude, it's we're excited but I mean, shoot, somehow everyone's got to run. Jill had to run to go pick Jack up from basketball camp because he's down there. One of his coaches looks just like Punky Johnson from Saturday Night Live, so it's like cracking him up the whole time. And apparently my neighbor knows her and says like, "Oh man, tell Jack not to mess with that girl." And I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Oh, she's like kind of from the hood part of Plymouth. And like she can like pretty much handle herself in any situation and handle just about anybody around her." And so I'm like, "Oh man, Jack, you better not get lippy." But if we gotta, to sum things up here, I mean, hell, this did go all over the place, and it like it does, which is unintentional. But to summarize, right, all over care does come from beard care, and we say that not only does it affect, the thing you're taking care of, your beard, and the things around it, the products you use start to get infected with the quality of what you expect to use on your beard. Why are you going to use something lesser on the rest of your body, right? And then from a nutrition standpoint, the water intake, the better food choices, you like the way you look, so you want to look better, and maybe you make better dietary changes and start paying attention to things you haven't. People in here have beat depression. They've beat weight loss. They get in shape. They overcome other obstacles because what we've figured out, we think today, is this stuff sets you up with a positive momentum for your day. And you're just more likely to do more positive stuff and have more good outcomes the more things you do for yourself, like take care of your beard, like anything else, like trimming a bonsai tree or making your bed or whatever it is. Taking care of your beard is all of those things and more, right? And it's get it. Like, and people that criticize it and people are like, "Oh man, you take longer to get ready than your wife." It's like, you know what? I might. And when I'm done, I feel fantastic.
Yep. It's not a comparison. It's not a game. And again, whatever is the springboard to healthier habits and choices,
take it.
Everybody should celebrate that. Everybody should take that. And if there's any of that talk that Nick just mentioned, and this is for real, it's just insecurities speaking out. It's oftentimes guys that wish they could have that or do that, but they just don't get through that barrier of perception and how it looks.
Yep.
And I mean, how many guys are talking about in an hour, talking about mental health, talking about natural deodorant, talking about all these things that just seem so like guarded and that we're not supposed to talk about as men. And this is worth even a rewatch to go back and think about some of those topics and concepts, man. You guys took this in such a beautiful direction. So I personally want to thank you to the chat and the comments that you guys had to drive this. We had a concept of where we were going to go, but we didn't know any of the stops along the way. And the stops that you guys created today were beautiful, beautiful. And I have literal destruction going on around me. I don't know if you guys can see, they're burning. There's smoke back here. They're burning trees and branches and everything all around. And so I got to pretty much like forget about that for an hour. And if I was, it was kind of in a laughing, updating type way. So thank you guys. Nick, thanks for, man, we're going to start calling the stream MacGyver. We make it happen no matter what. And the results are way better than I could ever imagine. So thank you guys for me. I'll let Nick kind of wrap it up for the final here.
Oh man, this is awesome. I mean, I'm glad you got the break that you got today from that madness. I'm glad you were able to make it work. And I'm glad I didn't have to do this whole thing solo because Dr. Nick gets a little rambly when he gets all on his own here without Dan reeling me in sometimes. So it was much appreciated.
I love it.
But next week, we got July 2nd. So we're going to be 2 days before the 4th of July. Believe it or not, 4th of July is next week. Everyone get your burgers and dogs and your whistling kitty tails and your expanding dog poop and your mortars. get it all ready because next week it'll be a good one. And next same time, it'll be the same place. Dan will be home, I think.
I believe so.
And
Yes.
I think so. I'll be home as well. And next week, July 2nd, 1 o'clock. Until then, stay amazing.